of 2 Ezra chapter 7 verse 21. For God has given straight commandment.
For God has given straight commandment of the things that we should do. Keep going.
To such as came, what they should do to live.
What they should do to live. Now when God breathed the breath of life into Adam in the first chapter, that's not talking about breathing air into his nostrils.
Right.
That's talking about telling him what to do so that he may prosper in life.
Right.
So that he can live, so that he can live life in peace and lay down in joy.
Right.
And be able to operate in this life that we live in the flesh.
Right. Even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment.
And what they should observe to avoid punishment. Because the Most High tells you that he created gnashing of teeth, he created weaponry, he created animals and all of these things to punish you. He didn't create those things in there. Originally, he didn't create those things to punish you. He created those things, you know, because we went off from the things that kept us alive. Because we went off from the laws, statutes, and commandments that kept us alive, he created those things that were to punish us.
Right.
Give me 2 Ezra 4 and 23. Oh yeah. But yeah, the Most High created these things so that the Most High created these things because he created gnashing of teeth and all these things because he wanted us to go back to where we were originally, to look at what our forefathers was doing.
It's the book of 2 Ezra chapter 4 verse 23. 14? Verse 14.
Chapter 14. No. 4.
Bring it out.
He might say, I can't hear it.
2 Ezra chapter 4 verse 23. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things.
Right, for it was not my mind to be curious of the high things. You go to Christianity and you worried about the kingdom of heaven. What about your brother that just got gunned down on the corner? What about him?
Right.
You know, what about, you know, our people that's lost and stuck on welfare and our people that's bugged out on drugs? Read that from the...
For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily.
But of such as pass by us daily. It's our mind to be worried about our sisters and brothers walking around here whoremongering and doing drugs. And our sisters and brothers that's out here stuck and struggling, you know, sitting on the street corners. You know, it was not our mind to come out here and teach you about the kingdom of heaven. We have to teach you how to get to the kingdom of heaven. We have to teach you how to get from where you are to where you want to be. It's our mind to be curious and to be knowledgeable about the things that pass by us every single day, not the things that are coming outward, because the scriptures tell you, woe unto him that hasteth the day of the coming of Christ. You know, you're not worried about that. You worried about not eating pork. That's what we out here to teach you. We out here to teach you to worry about stop whoremongering and things like that. Read that from the beginning.
What's up?
For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily.
But of such as pass by us daily. You know, and it's our oppressors that got us in that mindset. Give me 2 Maccabees 6 and 6. Right? It's our oppressors that got us in that mindset. You know, we're supposed to be worried about the things that pass by us daily. And these people forced us to become something that we were not. Right. It was never for us to be whoremongers. It was never for our people to be smoked out, bugged out on drugs. It was never for it. That was never even in our people's mind until our oppressors forced it on us. And I'm about to show you where they forced it on us in the Bible.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 6 verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days.
Right, the Sabbath day, the only day that you're supposed to rest. Esau say, get up, I'm going to pay you Friday night, the beginning of the Sabbath, and you going to spend all your money Friday night at the club and Saturday morning when the Most High say, I gave you that time for your body to reset and rest, for you to get ready to get up and enter your week again. I gave you that day so that you could rest. What they say about the Sabbath? It's the Sabbath right now, by the way. Go ahead.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days or ancient feasts
or ancient feasts. Now, what is the meaning behind a feast? First and foremost, it's a gathering of the Lord. Secondarily, it's for you to commune with your people. None of us knew each other, but guaranteed we would know each other if we was lining up every year to go to Jerusalem to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. If we was lining up, coming together on the Sabbaths, if we was doing all these things, we just brothers that stumbled upon each other in the world. All of Israel was originally meant to know each other. We all supposed to know each other far and wide. Brothers was coming all the way from across Israel to gather up in Jerusalem to celebrate feast days. And you was meeting brothers that was living 200, 300, 400 miles away from you, that traveled all the way up to Jerusalem, you know, for communion, so that we could all know each other and be as a community. Right, you got to understand, no community is a community without the word unity. You have to be unified as a people to do anything.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Why is that? Give me Psalms, 82, 83, where it's talking about they came together so that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. The reason why they don't want you to be known as a Jew is because once you know that you're a Jew, you know that you got a job to do. And once you get your job, once you start working, doing what you're supposed to do, then that's what destroys Esau's kingdom. We're not at war against Esau. We at war against ourselves. We at war against our own mind frames, and we're trying to deliver ourselves to a higher level of thinking so that the Most High can come back and do his job. Remember, the Most High tells you that everything that's done is done in measure. Say for instance, you got a sand clock. Every piece of sand got to fall to the bottom of that sand clock before a time can happen. So everything has to come to pass, and the Most High put it in a sand clock that we would have to, a third of us would have to think on a higher level according to the scriptures, so that the prophecy of the kingdom of heaven could be fulfilled. Why do you think that Christianity been around for over 200-300 years and people is still in captivity and Jesus still ain't came? Because that's not a part of the measure that the Most High is looking for. Give me that.
That's right. From the top, or you want first forward? This is the book of Psalms 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. And they taken crafty counsel against thy people.
So they didn't come straight forward. You got to understand that the way that people deal with you, just because you might have a white friend or Asian friend at work, that does not mean that entire race of people accept you. That doesn't mean that they love you. That doesn't mean integration. They've taken crafty counsel. You think all of us brothers don't go to work every day sitting in front of Esau having a smile in his face? Just because, we have to be crafty in our goings every day. We can't deal unwisely. We can't just walk up to him and say, hey, we hate your people. Just like they can't do that to us. Because if they did that to us, that would give away their cover. That would take the craftiness away from their counsel. Go ahead.
Right.
And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
So why was it unlawful for a man to declare himself a Jew? Because once you a Jew, you got a job to do. It's like a domino effect. Once you know one thing, another thing gonna spark. And then another thing gonna spark. And then another thing gonna spark. And you gonna keep elevating one floor at a time until one day, boom, you fully in the scriptures. And Esau knows this. So he took crafty counsel. He said, look, we're not going to treat those guys like niggers and spicks anymore. We're going to pretend like we love them and try to integrate them into our society without them knowing. We're going to do that so that we can keep them dumbed down and stop acting like they don't fit in with us. Just act like they fit in with us to a degree so that we could pretend, so that they can stay dumbed down. Esau wants you to believe that you're accepted by him, even though you never will be. Esau wants you to believe that you're accepted by him so that you never turn to the Most High.
Right.
Come and let them cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right. And Esau tried to BS us with that because in 1948 or whenever it was, they established, 1946, 48, 46, wherever it was, they established the state of Israel, just to try to throw our prophecies off. That's talking about the people of Israel. Give me Amos 3 and 2. That's talking about the people of Israel there, and it's just because we in that dumbed down state, that we're not able to function as a people. We got to understand that we can't do anything alone. None of us are able. I can't raise up the nation of Israel by myself because I'm not 1/3. He can't. We can. It's a we thing. You got to understand, and it's not just us. We need other brothers like us. We're not out here for every person that passes by. We out here for one or two people that's willing to stop and give 2 minutes to listen to what the Most High got to say. And then, because there's more to it than that. Because like I said, once you learn that you're a Jew, that means you got a job to do. You come out here and teach your people, and you look for that 1 or 2 people that's gonna come, and 1 or 2 people here, and 1 or 2 people there. You're not gonna have them all, But you gotta understand, the Most High tells you in the scriptures when who was that? Obadiah? That was like, no. That was Elisha or Elijah who was like, I'm the only one here that's preaching the scriptures. And then the Most High was like, I got thousands of more prophets hidden that you don't even know nothing about. You know, so you got to understand, right? It's about doing your part, exactly. Once you learn you a Jew, it's your job to get out here and teach your people.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth. He didn't say he knew Esau. So your war is with you. You have to strive so that the Most High knows you.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquity.
He didn't say he was going to punish you on somebody else's account. What did he say he was going to punish you for?
I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Right. The Most High said he was going to punish you for all your iniquities. And the reason being is because you got to understand that punishment is not necessarily a bad thing. We see on the news our people, right, exactly. We see on the news that our people is getting destroyed and ripped up and tore up and killed, and they had dogs sicked on them. The reason that is because we wasn't, give me Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 18. The reason is because we not keeping the laws how we supposed to. We wouldn't go, the scriptures tell you if you keep the laws, no evil thing shall touch you.
Right.
You know, if you operate with wisdom, you're going to be fine in life. Give me that. That's talking about love.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 18.
And by this is how we know that we love our people, because we are here teaching them the things that they need to know so that they may live. We don't want it. It pains us to see our people put to death every day, but we understand that that's necessary. That might have been the necessary push for another brother to wake up, because maybe he understand that something is wrong and I need to get right, and he's looking for the right way. So you got to understand, everything that happens to you in life, everything that you see is specifically tailored so that you end up where God wants you to be.
Right.
Just like I know a lot of brothers talk about how in the world they was molested and all of these wicked things happened to them, and now they in the truth. You got to understand that every one of those events had to take place for you to be where you are now in this truth, and to have the understanding that you have.
Right.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 18. And love is keeping of her laws.
And the love is the keeping of her laws. That's talking about the laws of wisdom. The reason being is because, and people think it's so negative for us to say that we pushing a religion on you because we telling you to keep the laws of the Bible. The Bible don't tell you nothing but to love your brother as you love yourself. Take care of your body. It tells you don't eat pork. Why don't you eat pork? The Most High is not just saying these things just to be like an asshole. The Most High is saying these things because he wants you to live, and he wants you to thrive, and he wants you to survive, and he wants you to live in comfort. The scriptures tell you the scriptures tell you it's better, you know, to live a life in simplicity, a quiet life, than a life all over social media bragging about what you got. You drawing unnecessary attention to yourself. The Most High tells you not to be covetous because he doesn't want you to feel the grief of losing something. If you're not covetous, when you lose something, you're going to understand that there's a time to lose things. You want to get that precept? That's Ecclesiastes. Yeah, go ahead and get that. If you're not covetous, you understand that there's a time to lose things. You know, you understand that there's a set time for everything under the sun. You know, as long as, you know, you keeping the laws, you have a great understanding. Things like, the scriptures tell you things like, take no grievance to heart. You don't believe in the Bible, but it tells you things like, don't stress yourself out because that's going to kill you. That's the same thing Esau tells you. Esau tells you that, but you would rather hear it from Esau because he your master, and right, then your brother. You would rather hear that from the damn devil instead of hearing that from somebody that look just like you. Somebody that's trying to give you the sense of life so that you can prosper. Give me that.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season.
To everything there is a season. So you got to understand, you know, there's a time for you to be broke. There's a time for you to have money. And you got to understand the scriptures also tell you that in the time of prosperity, you know, you don't think about when you was down. And in the time when you down, you don't think about your prosperity. You got to understand that the times are divided 2 and 2 so that you're able to learn. But people don't take the lessons to heart. All the Most High has been is a big old finger pointing in your face saying, look, I'm trying to show you this. And black people, they look, but they don't see with their eyes. You know, they're able to see, but they're not able to perceive. That's why the scripture, right? Exactly. Go ahead, read some more of that.
Verse 2. A time to be born and a time to die.
A time to be born and a time to die. People look for reasons to extend their life all the time. John the Baptist, I'm sure when he was put to death, he didn't want to die. But the thing is, John the Baptist, being in the scriptures, he understood and was ready, the same as Jesus. John the Baptist, he understood his role right at the end. He said, look, I'm put here to do this, and once I'm done with this, the Most High take me back. That's why in the life that you have, that's why the scriptures say, put it not off day to day to turn to the Most High, because you never know, you might die tomorrow. I might have fulfilled my entire life's mission right now, pushing the truth today just to wake up one person. I might die tomorrow, you know. So you got to understand, you're not put here, you know, with a definite number of days that you know. You put here with a number of days that only the Most High knows, you know. So it's like you got to understand, the Most High tells you to lay up as much treasure in heaven as fast as you can, because you never know, tomorrow might be the day that you go. And no matter what you do, you may not be able to change that, you know. Go ahead.
A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which was planted.
Right, because the Most High even tells you that right before the end comes, he gonna take the prophets away. So they're not gonna preach the truth to you no more, all like that. It's gonna be harder to find the truth in the world. Just like when the Most High, there was a plenteous amount of prophets during the time that Jesus was alive and right after Jesus, and then the prophets just disappeared. And you like, oh, where did they go? Ain't really nobody prophesying the truth. And then they just reappeared, you know, and they back planting seeds. You never know, you know, when the Most High is gonna pluck you up. And then your services you're not gonna be able to offer to someone, you know. Keep going.
Hey, but when he say he will send for many fishers,
right,
those are prophets.
Exactly, the fishers, that's what we doing right now. All we're doing, we just the finger of the Most High. Just say, for instance, just like your teacher following the board, that's all we are to the Most High. It's just a pointer. We just saying, look, this is how you get to the Most High, you know. If you don't want to take it, then you don't want to take it. That's up to you. The Most High had already determined that.
Right.
You know, go ahead.
A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down.
Right, and the time that we in right now is our broken down time. But the time that we're trying to bring about is the healing of our people.
That's
the
right.
And healing is not with doctor's medicine. Healing it comes from the Lord. It tells you that in Sirach 38. It tells you where healing comes from. It's not necessarily a physician. The scriptures tell you, he that will not keep the laws, let him fall into the hand of a physician. So that's telling you, because you're not trying to deal with the Most High and what he's trying to do in his agenda, that's exactly why you're in the hand of your doctor. That's why you have diseases and things.
And a time to build up.
Right, and that's what we're doing right now. We're just building the stones. That's all we're doing. With Christ as our cornerstone. That's all we're doing. We just got the Bible in our hand, looking for our people to rebuild the temple. That was written twain. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 4. A time to weep and a time to laugh.
Right. We in the time of our weeping right now. But Israel is so confused, they think that it's a time to laugh. They think that standing in front of the corner store, selling drugs to their people, being on Section 8, you know, getting drunk, they think that these are things of joy. Right, they think that these are things of joy, but you don't understand that at the time that we in now, you know, if you open up your eyes so that you may see, you'll see that it's our time of weeping. You know, we're not put here to rejoice. You know, our people is at the bottom of society, but people never consider these things.
A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together.
And that's exactly what we out here to do. I mean, the Most High casted his stones away, you know, just for us to bring them right back. The Most High threw his stones out and said, look, prophets, go gather my stones again. You know, and that's what we out here doing. We're not taking the honor of a prophet, you know, because none of us brothers, you know, is able, you know, to do certain of the things that a lot of the prophets in the scriptures was doing. But however, we are out here for our people. We striving out here to keep the laws, not just to keep the laws, but to come and help y'all get yourselves right. We don't want you to have high blood pressure. We don't want you to have heart disease and cancer and AIDS and none of these things. All we are is just your stop sign. When you come past us, you know, we just like you'll stop at a red light. That's what we are according to y'all livelihood. You know, when y'all come here, y'all should want to stop and just listen to the truth for a minute. You know, even if you disdain it, it may not be your time to wake up now, but later it might be one day where you just at home like, dang, I done seen them brothers before. What them brothers was talking, I remember what them brothers was talking about, and boom, 10 years later you might have woke up. You know, every one of us, we didn't just come out here all one at a time and wake up on the spot. We had to go look it up and research, and that's something that the Most High put in us that we're trying to give to y'all. You know, go ahead.
A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing.
And the Most High has refrained from embracing us. The Most High tells you in the Bible that he has compassion towards us, that he misses us keeping his laws. He tells you that. The Most High tells us that he wants to embrace us. But he can't do that if we're in our spiritual fornication mode. He can't embrace a filthy object because we know that the Most High is holy and set apart. And so we must also, as his people, be holy and set apart.
That's right.
Keeping his laws.
That's right. A time to rend and a time to sow.
Right. And that's what we're doing. We're sowing our people. Just like a time to gather. It's all this scripture, the Bible says basically all the same thing. The Bible is just telling you the Most High wants you, Israel, and you need to get back right. Just keeping the laws. Give me Ecclesiastes, the one where it says Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, where it says the whole duty of man. Yeah, so I mean the whole Bible is basically summed up in one verse where it tells you all you need to do is keep the laws, and the Most High do everything else. You don't have to get off your butt and fight Esau. If you keep the laws, right, the Most High is going. And on top of that, another thing I wanted to say was keeping the laws makes the burden on your brothers easier. Because if another young brother follow behind you and see you keeping the laws, that's one more person that you gain for Israel. Right? Right, exactly. Right.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
And this is my favorite precept. This is the precept that you go to when you want to make the simplest argument to your people. When you don't want to have to go jumping back and forth between precepts, you just go to this one. Let us hear the whole point of the conversation that we having.
To fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
So the whole duty of man is just to fear God and keep his commandments. So when we tell you not to eat pork, when we tell you not to celebrate wickedness, when we tell you not to celebrate Thanksgiving and all of these wicked holidays, when we tell you that, it's not your job to go to the club. It's not your job. Your life, the reason you are alive is to do the things that the Bible tells you to do. That's the whole. If you're not doing that, you have no purpose of being alive. That's why the Most High kills brothers. Like these brothers always say, this place used to be bustling and a whole lot of people, a whole lot of business, and a lot of these people got put to death because they wasn't fulfilling their life's purpose. They was wasting their life, and so the Most High took them away from the earth.
Good point.
Exactly.
That's right.
I don't have any more to say, but read that one more time. That's a perfect precept.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
So this is the end of your life. The conclusion means the wrapping up of something. At the end of your life, let us hear the things that you should have fulfilled on your dying bed.
Fear God and keep his commandments.
Right.
For this is the whole duty of man.
For this is the whole duty of man. When David was dying and he charged Solomon, he told him, Solomon, show yourself a man, gird your loins and keep the commandments of God. Don't eat pork. Yeah, that's in 1 Kings. You said 2 and 1? Get that then. 1 Kings 2 and 1. When David was dying, he told his son, fear God and keep the commandments. And I'm not just going to keep saying keep the commandments. The commandments are things like don't eat pork. The commandments are things like no whoremongering. The commandments are things like loving your brother as you do yourself. And loving your brother, and you got to understand, people love to talk about the 10 commandments and things like that. The Bible is far more expounded upon. When you say love your brother, that's a broad statement. How do you love your brother? We just went over that in Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 18, where it says, loving is the keeping of our laws. The way that you love your brother is to teach him the laws, and the way that he loves himself is to keep the laws. And the way that he loves his people is to teach the laws. That's how it's done. So when you talk about the 10 commandments, the scriptures tell you things like don't fornicate. What does don't fornicate mean? It expounds upon it in the Bible. Don't sleep with animals. Don't sleep with another man's wife, etc. Exactly. Right. Don't worship no other gods. All of these things fall under fornication. Right. So when you say the 10 commandments, the 10 commandments are very general statements that have specific definitions that you have to go into.
Right.
Go ahead.
Good point.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1. Now the days of David grew nigh.
Right. So David was about to die. And you got to understand, now Solomon already knew this thing. Solomon already knew this, but his dad had to reaffirm it because we always, just like my brother Shemaiah Wan said last night on the conference call, we are made to forget. Anything you, just like you could put your keys, walk in the house, put your keys on the table, and then you be looking for your keys like, dang, where did I put my keys at? You're made to forget. You have to constantly remind yourself and have others to remind you. When I see these brothers with their fringes on, it lets me know why I gotta keep my fringes on. It lets me know why I don't eat pork. It lets me know why. It lets me remember. You know, it puts me in a constant state of remembrance.
It's good to be. And I go the way of all the earth.
I'm about to die. It's David's time to die.
Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man.
And show thyself a man.
And keep the charge of the Lord thy God.
Right. And keep your fringes. And don't eat pork. And don't do this. And don't do that. And don't. Right. And don't be a whoremonger. And don't. Right. So remember, when he was dying, you have to remember that. And you know as well as I do, a person's parents are the most precious people in the world to him.
That's
so
right.
If your dad is telling you something on your dying bed, you're going to give ear to him.
That's right.
You know? So it's just, at the end of the day, all that we put here to do is just keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And that's going to continuously be our message. You know, while as long as we out here. Every time I come out here, that's going to be the same precept I pull out. You don't need new precepts. We need to get the milk to y'all. You know, we need for y'all to understand that, you know, the Most High is on the move. You know, he moving. You know, every city that you go to in America, every city that you go to in the world, somewhere you're going to hear this truth. And it's never going to stop. Just because you walk away from us, don't mean that you're not going to walk right into another camp that's saying the same thing we saying. You know, just because you may not like us, you know, as brothers individually, it don't matter. You're going to hear this truth anyway. You know, and with that, I'm going to say shalom. I don't have too much more to say. You know, you want to
finish this all?
Okay, go ahead. Right, go ahead.
Verse 3, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest.
That thou mayest prosper. That's also in the book of Judith, when Holofernes was asking how to defeat the Israelites. When he was getting a report, he said, and if they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their undoing. And what that means is that the Most High is fighting for you. You don't have to lift a finger. As long as you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, it sounds to me like the Most High is going to do the rest. You know, the Most High held the sun up for the extra span of a day so that the Israelites could go and conquer their enemies.
That's right.
You know, so it's like you're not doing anything. Samson was able to kill thousands of Philistines as one man. He was able to do that as one man. David was able to slay with an army 8,000 Edomites, 13,000 Edomites, tens of thousands of Edomites in the Valley of Salt, because you know the Most High was with him. Right. When the general came to Elisha, and asked him about winning the war, he said, open this man's eyes that he may see. He looked up on a mountain and saw thousands of angels with him, ready to deliver his host, you know, against a mightier army. You know, so it's just that you need to understand that when the Most High tells you, as long as you keep the laws and have the faith, you're able to say, remove ye mountain all the way over there. You're able to do that. You're able to overcome any obstacle because the Most High is with you. You're not able to do that if you don't have the Most High behind you. That's why all the other nations failed at taking us over when we was in our righteousness. Go ahead.
And whitherso thou turnest thyself, I'm going to repeat it, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
Right, so whichever way you turn, left, right, back, any land that you go into, you're going to prosper. They ain't going to mess with you. They ain't going to be able to. No man is going to be able to stand before you if you keep the laws of the Most High. And the other nations understand that. That's why they had to take crafty counsel, because they knew that they had to pull God away from us. Right. They had to pull God away from us before they was able to destroy us, because if they kept God with us, you know, that's why the Most High told us when we went into the land to wipe out all of the other nations, because they was going to pull our heart away. And once they pull our heart away from the Most High, we're vulnerable.
That the Lord may continue his word, which he spake concerning me, saying, if thy children take heed to their way, to walk before him in truth with all their heart.
Right, if your children, right, bethink themselves, basically if they repent. So all you have to do is keep the laws. Do your best to keep the, and the thing is, we're not saying come up here and the next day just be the most lawfulest brother ever. We're telling you, put it in your mind so that you can begin to make a change. Nothing change. A flower doesn't grow in one single day. You got to understand that. No part of life happens in one day, one single minute. We out here to put it on your mind so that that seed is able to grow. To grow continuously.
Like the moon.
Right.
Well
Exactly,
said.
like the moon.
Well said.
To walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their soul. There shall not fail thee. And he said,
Right. They shall not fail thee. You got to understand that, you know, what you see before you, you know, you got to understand that the things that you see before you are nothing, you know, compared to the things that the Most High will do. When Jesus said that you'll be able to say to a mountain, remove thou thence, what that means is that when you come unto something that stands before you, as long as you got the faith in Christ and believe in the Most High and keeping his laws, you're going to be able to overcome anything. You're going to be able to overcome mountains. A man can't stand in front of a mountain and overcome it physically, right? So that's saying when you want a mountain to remove in your life, as long as you're keeping the laws and the faith of the Most High, you'll be able to handle these things that come upon you. Because it's right with your brethren, exactly. That's why the scriptures say, you know, if two lie together, they shall be able to get one. Because loving your brethren, you'll have people to go through. Any stress that you're going through, anything that's grievous on your heart, you'll have people to go to for comfort, for help. You know, that's another reason to come into the truth. America teaches you to be individual. That's not how the Most High operate. The Most High is not even individual. When the Most High sent Satan down to the earth, the Most High be having meetings and stuff with his angels and all kind of stuff. That's all throughout the scriptures.
Hey, that's big.
Right.
There's always counsel.
The Most High, right? The Most High tell you he take counsel. If the Most High, the creator of all things, is the creator of the angels, are taking counsel with the angels, then you know, right? Then you know that you, as a human being who is supposed to be made in the image of the Most High, is supposed to go to your brothers with anything that's going on.
That's right.
Go ahead, you want to finish that?
There shall not fail thee, said he, a man on the throne of Israel.
Shall not fail thee, a man on the throne of Israel. That's talking about Christ. That's talking about Christ being your ruler. You know, because originally, you know, if you read the scriptures, you would know, originally it wasn't set for Israel to have a physical man as a king. You know, Israel, through their covetousness and pride, decided they wanted to put a man, right, they decided they wanted to put a man, but it was never meant for a physical man to rule over Israel. It was always supposed to be the Spirit of Christ, which was the keeping of the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. Right.
That was it.
Okay, well, that's all I really wanted to say. You know, with that, I'm going to let the next brother step up.
This is the word of the Lord of hosts. I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.